1,327. So let's see if I'm on. Lots of news. Oh my goodness, so much news. Let's make sure. There's always breaking news. Matter of fact, we have more breaking news, and I'll break it tomorrow. Just absolutely a lot of information coming in. And, that has been shown um, to be a result of our Team Find Richard Halliday. All of you, because there's no Team Find Richard Halliday without you. And they know this, and that's why we've been shadow banned. That's why, uh, the criminal element that's watching this live stream will report, give bad reviews, will go on, multiple platforms and hinder this live stream. Instead of taking it, engaging with us, because look at Bob Moore of El Paso Matters. We've tried to get in touch with him, talk to him no less than 10, 11 times. And yet he rather associate with the criminal element. Those that we know are convicted criminals that have a history of being criminals, of harassing, of bullying, of threatening, um, with pedophilia in their background, with sexual assault, even of children in their background, with child pornography in their background. Bob Moore rather associate with them than to communicate with a family that's trying to find the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier, the distinguished honor graduate Richard Halliday, the very beautiful, beautiful um, soldier that was stopped in a parking lot for a traffic stop by a canine, a kin of Berlin, kin of Berlin Roaches, canine cop, making a traffic stop at midnight in a parking lot. Um, yeah, that's a frame, because that's not his game, right? That's not his game. A canine cop. That's a frame. That's what that is. So, yeah, that was very, very clear. And we've been showing the video to people that know law enforcement, and they're like, absolutely, that's not his game. That was a frame. And Richard was absolutely beautiful and respectful. I mean, stood at attention, stood at attention. Yes, sir, stood at attention, not even asked to stand at attention. And these uh Melendez and what's the other guy's name? I keep and they both need to be arrested themselves for what they did to Richard, and to not come forward, to know that it was a frame, to know that it was a setup, that these are dirty cops, right? So we're working on that, because they absolutely uh, violated Richard's rights, and Richard was so sweet and so respectful, standing at attention, doing whatever they asked him without any problems. And they were just demons. Demons. That's people with hearts of stone like that are demons. They really are. And we're working on releasing those videos to you. I see that I'm on here. But he looks really beautiful in those videos, and did all the tests, totally with it, totally with it. Stars and Stripes. Oh, what was her name? Thayer. You need to watch these. Matter of fact, maybe I should contact her. But I think that yeah, maybe I will contact her. Maybe after 3.5 years, she has realized um, the situation that we're in. Rose Thayer of Stars and Stripes. Um, yeah, maybe we need to contact her because that was absolutely all a frame job, and there needs to be a correction. Absolutely a correction in favor of Richard. And the thing that Rose Thayer probably knows, because that's her job to know, it wasn't our job to know. We didn't know, but I think everyone should get a better education. We needed a better education because our agencies and our organizations and our institutions take advantage of us and they mean us harm. And so we have to get, here we are paying their wages. And I'm including the military in this. The military has a group that think that everything in the military belongs to them and not the American people, that they don't have any loyalty to the Constitution. And I'm really talking about Major General Clem Coward here. And what I heard today was so shocking about what is going on in the leadership in our military. Um, Especially with Humvees. With Humvees, it is absolutely shocking, the misuse, the misallocation, the waste, fraud, and abuse. The waste, fraud, and abuse. And under Clem Coward, we didn't expect this, but he has so many allegations against him that is outside and beyond of the allegations in the Richard Halliday case. He has so many allegations against him. And, first and foremost, intelligence. And I'll just give you one really, really kind of how is it shocking? I don't think it's shocking, but sexual harassment, sexual assault, allegations. And then where do they send him after Richard, after when they're trying to hide him from us, from having to meet us, look at us in the eyes? This coward, what a coward. God has just such a great, a great power, a great power that just shows us who's who. And this coward is a coward, not willing to face us. But no, he goes to Washington, D.C. to head the sexual harassment and assault against women. Oh, yeah. And he has all these allegations. It is just, and there's so much more. So much. I mean, he has so many allegations against him. This, who in the world let him have command over our volunteer sons and daughters? Who did it? Who let them? I want to know who in the Congress let Coward have command over our voluntary, our most precious assets, our most precious assets. These are our young people, okay? Who in the world let him have command over our volunteer sons and daughters of this republic? We are a republic. We're a democratic republic. We are a constitutional republic. And yeah, I want to know, because they did not look at his background. They did not do a character check. They did not vet before they give these beautiful uniforms and stars to our to make them leaders, right? To make them have command over our most valuable assets. And to tell you how bad, to tell you how bad Major General Clem Coward is, 32nd ADCOM, Air Defense, until he had to go and oversee sexual harassment and assault when he has all these allegations against him. I mean, really, why didn't they handcuff him and strip him from our uniform? That's our uniform, not his uniform, our uniform, and our stars and our stripes, not his. Not his. And he had a duty. A duty. And what this video of Richard shows, my beautiful son, my beautiful, respectful son, standing at attention while he's being framed, by Belen Rocha's canine cop, in a parking lot, yeah, at midnight. I cannot make that up. And um, what did he, what, and just so with it, And what did this general do? He absolutely spoke volumes to us. Okay? That means to you and to me. Because he did not have Richard's back. He did not protect his soldier. I'm sure he saw the video. I'm sure he was hoping that Richard would not be so beautiful. But he was. And yet, he, with that heart of stone, that very hard-hearted demon heart. Can you imagine a demon? We have so many demons wearing our beautiful uniform and beautiful stars and stripes. Beautiful. And yet he's a demon. And we're possessed. We're possessed by these demons that have infiltrated. And this is why so many of our most precious assets, our sons and daughters, are getting so hurt. You should hear the families beg, do not give up. Do not give up. Keep going. Keep going, Mrs. Halliday. Do not give up. And the veterans group, when they go, what is going on here? This mother can post whatever she wants. Do not give her a hard time. And you know, the veterans, they are fighting a battle, you wouldn't believe it. And I'm talking about active duty. Active duty are fighting a battle, an ideological battle. I told you it was ideological from the very beginning. This is an ideological battle. What is most important? Where do you put your treasures? Where do you put your trust? Where do you put your duty? Who do you have loyalty to? This is an ideological battle. And the veterans group absolutely are fighting very, very hard to want to serve this country by protecting and defending the Constitution of the United States. And they are having a hard time doing that. Can you believe it? Within the military, within the leadership, because they've got leaders like Clem Coward, like this. Who put these leaders in, right? Who put Mealy in? Who put Sean Bernabe in stars, right? Who put him in stars? What a traitor. What a traitor. And this is all connected to Trump, because they were traitors. They did not take orders from the commander-in-chief. That's clear. We're doing a lot of studying on this because absolutely August 3rd was traitors against Trump, against this, and I wouldn't even say Trump. It's against our system, against our country, against the Constitution, because it's violating the laws of respecting people's right to vote for the leader and the winner, to be honest, right? To serve this country even though your candidate didn't win. These traitors, these infiltrators, these uh, it's just so hard to explain because they were willing to murder. They were willing to organize, orchestrate, um, carry out, and cover up a mass shooting. A mass shooting. And they did it on August 3rd, 2019, in El Paso, Texas. And, I pray to God because I have this really bad feeling that they use military weapons from Fort Bliss to carry out that murderous mass shooting. Because, the narrative that the media is absolutely culpable on not vetting, right? On not vetting, not doing the research on the stories that they put out. We know that from El Paso Matters, whose IRS 501c3, tax deductible, supposed to be neutral, and we absolutely know because it's not just Team Fine Richard Halliday that has made reports against him. He has multiple ever since he started, in I believe February of 20. He has had complaints of him being biased when he's supposed to not be biased because he's tax free. So El Paso Bob Moore is up to no good. Absolutely not vetting his sources. He's not even saying Leilani Hart's name right now. And he should, because she's a convicted criminal, not to be trusted, not reliable, and he rather could and cozy up with convicted criminals and use them as sources to further his biased political beliefs. Who does he really work for? Why did he even start with El Paso Matters? Because to him, El Paso doesn't matter. It's somebody else. And going back to Clem Coward, um, do they know each other? I wonder if they know each other. But it is absolutely clear that Clem Coward needs to be arrested. He think about this. When Richard was so beautiful during that traffic stop, and he was exonerated on July 9th, okay? And you can call it whatever you want. I call it exonerated because he never, ever did anything but maintain his innocence, and he had the video to prove it. Look at it. Look at my video, everybody. I'm innocent. I am beautiful. I am respectful. I'm standing at attention. I'm passing on my tests. I am beautiful. And what did Clem Coward do? That happened. So in that time period, from January 27th to July 9th, very soon after, I have it up there, Clem Coward decides. It took him a little bit, a couple months, because he's looking at that beautiful video and he's like, hey, El Paso Police Department, can you hide that video? What are the chances? You need to hide that video, especially the initial, and because that Jesus Melendez, he's a canine cop. He's Belen's cuz. He's a canine cop doing a truck stop in a parking lot at midnight. But that hard heart, you know what the hard heart means? He's up to no good in other places. He's got so many allegations against him. Okay, let's say with all those allegations, 20% of them are true. They are bad. They are bad. Even 20%. They are so bad. And what he did to Richard absolutely corroborates his black heart, meaning hard heart, meaning evil heart. Evil, dark, wanting to be malicious, wanting to be, and I will say this too about Lieutenant Colonel Michael Roddick and his dark heart, stone heart, absolutely dark, black, rotten to the core heart. And when you watch the video, you'll absolutely say the same thing, because they took action, retaliation against Richard with a GOMAR, made it a permanent GOMAR, started the chaptering process, gave him a field grade Article 15 with maximum punishment, with the demotion of 3 ranks, 45 days of extra duty, wearing full battle gear, wearing a mask. That would give him 4 hours of sleeping a day for 45 days, 50% of his pay for 2 months for being beautiful. For being beautiful. For being respectful. For being with it. For not going into the party hall. For wanting to sleep in his car in a parking lot because the barracks were left unsecured. The barracks was flush with weapons. The barracks was marketplace for illegal drugs. The barracks was housing 14-year-old girl being pimped out every night to these soldiers. The barracks was a place for sexual assault. And so, I'm just trying to get some sleep. Oh, my heart, it just, for these soldiers, coward was over them. Jerry Jakovitz too. Command Sergeant Major Jerry Jakovitz, who went out to dinner. We Team Fine Richard Halliday paid for his dinner. The Shaky Jake. What a dark heart. What a heart of stone. What a demon. Sorry. But we have to call him out. Because they have betrayed us for a cushy job at the VA or some whatever business. And they mean to do more harm there too. Because if they cannot be trusted wearing our uniform, wearing our stars and stripes, with all of the benefits, with all of the support, think about it, what they will do in their positions to hurt our country after they retire. And you realize what they did to Richard ended up with his assault, with his torture, with his murder, with him being dismembered, with him being put into different locations, and the whole thing covered up. Now, think about that as a parent. If something like that happened to your child, think about that as an American citizen, that happens to one of our soldiers, that happens to one of our service members, and it's happening to many. There has to be accountability here. And now, intelligence is telling us that Dallas Hart, who was Richard's platoon leader, and his mother, Leilani Hart, the convicted criminal that gets her mail at Dreams Cabaret, which is known. The allegations on Dream Cabaret is just absolutely stunning, because it's all about human trafficking, weapons trafficking, money laundering, drug trafficking. And, it's right there beside the Tactical Move Storage Unit lot. It's right there besides Texas Department of Transportation, and right behind it, what is it? FedEx. Well, that's handy. That's handy. And I think the American people need to hear what's going on. Hear the allegations and see their irregularities and see the hard evidence and see the circumstantial evidence and see that El Paso Matter sides with convicted criminals, and we give them a tax break. I'm sorry, IRS needs to change that one. Change that one. And to tamper and hinder and sabotage the search and the investigation for one of our finest, distinguished honor graduate, Richard Halliday, the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier. Why? Because he was a whistleblower, because he didn't like human trafficking, because he didn't like pedophilia, because he didn't like child pornography, because he didn't like the barracks being flushed with weapons, because he didn't like the barracks being a marketplace for illegal drugs, because he didn't like 14-year-old girls living in the barracks being pimped out. He didn't like that kind of ideology. He didn't like the sex cult ideology. And at this time, it really does not align with the Constitution or our regulations or our laws. At this time, it's still illegal. So he had every right to be a whistleblower. Every right. Every right not to tolerate that kind of activity. And I'm talking about activity too with the weapons smuggling, with money laundering, because that comes with it, and also the immigration fraud. Because there's a lot of immigration fraud questions that are directed to Leilani Hart and also Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and others. And even to Vita Nusa's family, and maybe to Vita Nusa. And, okay, I'm from an immigration family. My mother, her first time being in the United States was at White Sands Missile Range, where I was born. That's where she got her citizenship. How did she do it? She they were so poor. Um, my dad promised her when they would get to the States, they would get a wash machine. And so they had an empty housing, but they had a wash machine. And she got an iron and she started ironing soldiers' uniforms and sewing on those patches, ironing them, cleaning them, ironing them. At that time, they were fatigues. And she started watching uh, TV to learn English while she was ironing. And then she learned the preamble and the Constitution and the history of the United States. And then she took her immigration test and she passed it. She became an American citizen. I know all about citizen, immigrating families, uh, dual language families, bilingual families. I mean, my family has always been bilingual. Now it's trilingual. If you count Irish in there, it's quad quadlingual. Yeah, so I understand. But you have to do it legally. And you cannot let someone like a convicted criminal have to cover up the murder of a soldier on Fort Bliss, the forced disappearance, and the murder, the vicious murder. Because she's a suspect. And she absolutely knew Clem Coward. She served under Clem Coward. She knew Clem Coward. We already, from being there, our intelligence, she knew Clem Coward. And she was getting her mail at Dreams Cabaret. And yeah, the rest you have to read between, and you have to do some research. And you have to ask yourself, why would a general bother giving a soldier that was totally sober, totally respectful, standing at attention, passing all the tests, being stopped with by a canine cop of Belen Rocha, a stripper, another unreliable source? Why wouldn't you protect your soldier? Have your soldier 6. But why would you give them a permanent GOMAR and destroy their career? And for many, that would destroy them. But Richard was very strong. And I totally understand the complexity of this. Wow. I understand it now. It's very profitable to be a criminal in the military. Very, very profitable. And so we need the finest men. And we need to vet them. And we need to hold them accountable. And when I say men, I mean humans, men and women. They absolutely need to be held accountable. And they need to be vetted. They need to love this country. That's why we have a volunteer army, a volunteer military. You cannot force people that don't love this country to be in the military. Because look at what's going on. We have a volunteer military, and we still have this criminal element. That is because we have no accountability. We have no um, no vetting, and we have a dirty Congress because there's no other way to explain the promotions to of these stars without saying that the Senate Arms Committee and the House Arms Committee are dirty because they need to vet these people and they need to vet them properly, not because, oh, their daddy did this, or we got campaign funding from this person that says we have to promote this person or whatever. There has to be a restructuring. There has to be. And behind me, below, you can see is Justinian and Theodora that I was painting before Richard went missing. And why was I inspired to paint them? You know, God could only explain that one. But I, was moved by studying Byzantium, studying the Justinian Codex. Yeah, I'm a homeschool mom, and I wanted to be an inspiration and a help to other homeschool families. And so I kept studying. And I was really moved by Justinian and Theodora living empire. You have to have loyal military. You have to have border security. You have to have hard money. The Byzantium golden coin was known all over the world. It's still even, you can find it even in China today. I mean, the Byzantium golden coin coveted by all people because it was hard money, hard currency. And you have to have uh, a really good relationship with your farmers for the best food and clean water. Clean water, best farmers, good hard money, security at the border, and that means a loyal military. That's it. And if you want to destroy, you can see how they're trying to destroy us. They're infiltrating our military. Our borders are a mess. They're attacking our farmers. Our money is just inflating like crazy because it's so unstable. And our water is tainted. And our water is tainted. Everybody has to buy water filters and all this stuff because our water is tainted. And so our health is not good. Yeah, it's a huge leap forward in the health of a nation is good, clean water. And they never talk about it. And we pay this money to have water, and where's our good, clean water? Everybody's buying filters and all that. Yeah. So, I think we just have to understand what is going on, and we can understand Richard's case that they take our finest, and there's, more than Richard, our finest young people that are ready and willing to be mentored and to be disciplined, to be taught, to be a blessing to this country. And who's their leader? And Clem Coward, who has allegations of all kinds of sexual nonsense and more and more. all kinds of nonsense. They put someone like him in our uniform and pin stars on him. Yeah, I think we have a lot of work to do, and I would say that as this goes on, and I see Team Farm Richard Halliday points it out to me, um, that the Walmart mass shooting was an attack on the system. They were absolutely trying to smear their opponent, which happened to be President Trump. Why? Because peace through strength. And we were strong. And we were ending Afghanistan. And we were ending wars. And that means you have to do something else for a living. You can't just do um, military contracts, right? You can't just, I guess they did Ukraine. Oh, yeah, you want some tanks? We'll send you down some tanks so you can blow up some old fine buildings and people along with it and send all these kids to the front line. Oh, we don't care as long as we get those contracts. Um, yeah, it is really sickening. We have um, developed this war machine for so long that people don't know how to make money, make a living doing anything else. And these big businesses, they don't want to retool their production factories, do they? And they could, because there's so many things to be invented, so many other things that can be made in this country instead of aiding the war machine. And it just seems very clear the hearts of stone that this decades of war have created, you know, hearts of stone. Um, they're just so used to death, so used to destruction and blowing up things and, um, you know, whatever for whatever contract. And so, you know, we're asking everyone to think about this. Um, God can change hearts of stone to hearts of flesh. He can. And that's what we're praying for. That's what we're praying for our country, for our service members, for our sons and daughters' future. Um, we want accountability for Richard, for our family, for this country, and we want accountability for President Trump. Um, I, you know, just see from the very, very beginning the weaponization of the system, the threat that he has caused, uh, the the people that are so dependent on the system. And here he is. I think a lot of people understand what has happened, and that's why they are supporting him. Absolutely. And I can tell you right now that agent, whatever he is, spy, agent, ghost spy, whatever Ernest Christopher Grant is with Donna Sifford, whatever they are, they're up to no good for our country. And they absolutely perpetuated through the media because they were definitely, especially Chris Grant, he was like this media sweetheart. And, you know, He got access, y'all. He got access. And they wanted to perpetuate. And I just saw Chris Cuomo say that wasn't true about, what about his brother or something. And I'm like, but you are worse than that. You are worse than that, Chris Cuomo. You perpetuate the August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting, the Walmart mass shooting in El Paso, Texas, the very vile and vulgar lies, going and kissing up to uh, a, a criminal, a perpetual criminal, trying to make him into a hero to the unbeknownst population of El Paso. What a criminal. Yeah, so it is, it is pretty bad what they did. And it must have to do with making money off of all of these other criminal activities. So they wouldn't protect Leilani Hart so much. They wouldn't protect, and it has to do with the cartel, It's all connected to the cartel. They run the border. They run our border. And that's why, they protect Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia so much. And of course, it has to do with some other contracts and businesses and getting monopolies and, all that. It's so wicked. The whole thing is so wicked, and there's no honor amongst thieves. There is just no honor amongst thieves at all. And you can just see it. So please share. It is really good news that we got these videos of Richard from the January 27th, 2020 Kin K9 traffic stop in a parking lot at midnight. It's really good that we got them. That means that there are people in the El Paso Police Department that want to do the right thing. That's good news. That means there's things going on behind the scenes. And the breaking news about Hart going AWOL after August 3rd, 2019, that he went AWOL, that kind of blew us away, that intelligence. So if you know about that, if you were there, if you were in Delta 3, because that's where he was. He was Richard's platoon leader. But he was on Fort Bliss, and if you knew Dallas Hart, yeah, we'd like to know this intelligence coming to us, because there's a lot more allegations than that. That one just caught our eyes. There's a lot of allegations. He doesn't seem to be a distinguished honor graduate, okay? I'm just going to tell you that much. Nope, he doesn't seem to have the esprit de corps. And yeah, so that was big information, that those allegations against him. So things are happening behind the scenes because we're getting this information. So thank you, everyone. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on. I see your prayers and your love all the time, and I feel them. God's hand is all over this. Can you imagine this whole thing with this canine? When Rob watched, it was just so hard to watch it. And all the emotions, I can't even... I guess that's why, we're really having to take our time and go through it. And we're still going through the 800 pages from the CID. That is such a farce, y'all. It is just first grade work. And we're just about there, finished with that. They don't even mention the PI, Phil Waters. They don't mention. No, they wouldn't do that. No, because that mentions the sex videos, right? That Richard turned in from Berlin Rocha. No, they couldn't mention those. They can't mention that in there. I mean, it's just, it's all such bad work, and it reeks cover up. It reeks cover up. There's no honor amongst these people that are protecting these thieves. And you know what they steal? They steal our children. They steal our children instead of, um, yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing.